Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So do you think that we're kind of talking about a bit of the hookup culture, I guess. So do you think that, looking at the situation now and being the age that you are now, do you think that there can be anything done about the hookup culture? Because what I hear you saying is that it wasn't the best experience for you as far as, the way it came out. Although I remember you said that you had two major relationships, and so you didn't probably participate in the typical hookup culture type thing. But do you think that contributes, the hookup culture contributes to guys acting the way they do, as far as as you said, it started off real positive, but then little things started coming up, and
Mhm.
little disrespect, and then a little bit more disrespect, that type of thing. Do you think that climate that we're going through right now, it contributes to that?
I do think so, because it's so with the hookup culture, it is so easy to go out somewhere or to get on an app on your phone and call a random person or text a random person or somebody you know or whatever and just set something up, a little rendezvous. And so when things get hard, you don't feel like working because that's work, and we're lazy. We don't seem to want to put in any work now. And why should we? I guess when at the touch of a button, what you want is right there. And
Yeah.
so I think all of it plays into each other, and it's a vicious, nasty circle. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I kind of just observed that from you ladies. We had the women's class back when you were there, and um, it was pretty heartbreaking to watch a lot of it. And it seemed to me to be very common with the ones that shared, which a lot of them did. So I guess that's why where I'm at now, to
Mhm.
try to bring the experience of women like yourself to the younger ones, to maybe encourage them to take the pathway that you described earlier, as far as finding what you need in yourself, and then being that person, and then being able to go out and I suppose not be in a situation where you allow people to treat you not the way they should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I found, after my relationship, my longer relationship that wasn't really too healthy, I got into another relationship that was shorter, a lot shorter, wasn't that healthy either. And then I spent a lot of time by myself, and I have a lot of people still ask me because I'm still single, and some people will ask me, like, doesn't that bother you? Everybody's in a relationship, and sometimes it does. But being by myself, I've realized that in the past for me, and I seem to see it in a lot of younger women, when you haven't fully become comfortable with yourself and you're still walking around with the insecurity of, am I good enough? Am I pretty enough? Am I small enough? All these insecurities of the world that the media kind of force on us. But all these insecurities we walk around with, we don't love ourselves for what we are. And then the way we cope with that is that we seem to go out and find a relationship with somebody so they can validate all of the things that we question about ourselves. And so we keep ourselves in these relationships because we think that this person essentially is, making us a better person, because they seem to be validating all the things that we're looking for in ourselves.
Mhm.
But essentially that's not what's happening though. It's really just it's a scapegoat. You're not really taking responsibility. You're not learning how to love yourself. You're just kind of you're avoiding the whole thing. And so I learned that when I took a step back and did take the time to be by myself, I learned who I was. I could be I dated myself. I did. That's what it was. I dated myself. I really did take myself on dates. I still do it. I take myself on dates. I do take the time in the morning, and this is just a love yourself tip, I guess. But I take the time in the morning to ask myself, like, how are you doing? The same way that when we're in these relationships, we get to know another person,
Mhm.
we have to do with ourselves first.
Right.
So I think that's where people mess up. They go into these relationships looking for the other half, but you should already know yourself enough. You're looking for something in somebody else, but you should know you first,
Mhm.
then you can get to know somebody else.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree, and that's very wise. Like, you have to you have to get that wholeness, I guess, and get to know yourself and kind of, as you said, go into those dark corners sometimes that we have where, oh, I don't like this about myself, or I don't like that about myself, or, I need to be uh, affirmed on this situation by somebody else. And yeah, it puts you in a especially